Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another Dice Tower review. My name is Z Garcia.
I'm Mike Delisio.
Today we're doing something a little bit differently. We are going to be covering 3 games all at once. Blam! These are 3 games from the same publisher. Correct me if I'm wrong here. Playte?
I'm not going to correct you, Z, because I don't know. I probably say Playte, but I feel zero confidence that that's the correct pronunciation.
Let's go with Playte.
Mm-hmm.
And these 3 from that company are all Reiner Knizia games. For the most part, let me see. Yeah, these are all reprints of games that they've put out with a new look and in a very, very small, as you can see, form factor. Here, sold sometimes as a unit, or you can get these individually. So we figured we'd cover all 3 together because they are reprints. Not a lot to go in depth here on. Just our thoughts on the worthiness of the games themselves, and then, of course, a commentary a little bit on the reprint quality of these. We're not even cutting to the table for this one, okay? We're just going to talk about these. We'll go through them, come back, do some scores.
I love it. I love it.
All right, so let's see. Let's start with Easy Come, Easy Go. How about that?
I like it.
All right, so Easy Come, Easy Go is a push your luck dice game in which you are on your turn rolling dice Yahtzee style. If you roll a certain configuration that is matched by one of these tiles out there, which are really cool sort of ship in a bottle tiles, then you claim that thing. If it comes back around to you and you have a certain number, I think it's like 4, if you own 4, you win the game. But they can be stolen from you before your turn comes around, because if you roll that combination, you can take it from me, put it in front of you. They've included a few extra tiles in here that were not in the previous printing of the game. But that's largely it. The game is very simple.
Very, very simple.
It's,
yes.
I would say, the simplest of these 3, no contest, is Easy Come, Easy Go here. And it is also in a very crowded sort of genre, I don't know, area of gaming. This idea of rolling dice and getting a combination. I mean, going all the way back to Yahtzee.
It's even somewhat crowded amongst this designer's own catalog. There are other games that Reiner Knizia have done that uses a very similar mechanism. I don't think that this one does it as well as many of those other games. So it's to me, not the strongest of these 3 games by any means.
Sure, yeah. I will say, I think this edition of the game, if you happen to be a fan of the game or it catches your eye, it's the nicest it's ever been.
Yes.
Because some of the previous ones, I've seen the previous ones, I've played them. This one has a style and this idea of putting putting the ships in the bottle and sort of having them aesthetically look different.
Right.
It's a lovely touch. It's a really eye-catching package. The dice look good in this, the whole look, the ambiance. In fact, this cover, which is very whimsical, with the ships there being floating on balloons that look like the dice.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just it's a whimsical package, this one. So a looker, but I'll agree with you, not the strongest game. There are better offerings, even from the same designer. And from the same publisher, of course, because we're looking at another one. Penguin Party here has been out in the past in a few different form factors. One of them including plastic penguins you would physically stack. I think that edition had like a dexterity component to it. But in this one, you are going to be playing cards from your hand to the table, trying to go out, trying not to lock up. Because if you lock up and cannot play, you'll take some negative scoring chips. You're trying to get rid of those things. It's all colors, so every card doesn't have a number or anything. It's just a color, and on your turn you play. Or you do this sort of pyramid building idea where you can play a card above 2 others, but it has to match the color of one of those 2. And it'll slowly, of course, your choices dwindle. That's it. That's the game. You play a few hands of that and see what your score is. I thought this one was very charming, and this edition is adorable.
Yes.
I mean, the look, the penguins, the artwork, the style, the monochromatic thing with then a single color splashed on it is really adorable. I'm just charmed by this little box. And the game I thought was pretty fun too.
It is. It has one of those hallmarks of the designer, which is very, very simple rules. with hidden depth that you may not see the first time you play it.
I agree.
It's not the most strategic game in the world, but there is more there than first meets the eye. And like I said, I think that's something you can say about a lot of Knizia's designs, is that it has some nice hidden depth. And I do agree with you about the production. The production, I think, across the board is very, very good. And in many cases, I'm going to make a controversial take in a moment, but in many cases, they're going to be the best versions of these games that I've seen production-wise.
Yeah.
Okay, so, I agree with the aesthetic. I think it's adorable. I think that getting rid of the actual little penguins is the way to go. I guess I understand.
It was a weird one.
It just didn't fit for me. That didn't make a whole lot of sense. This is a pure card game. It feels like it should be a pure card game. It is a pure card game.
Yeah.
Stick to what's good there.
Yeah, I think a lot of folks try to make arguments sometimes for small card games, especially from esteemed designers. Mm-hmm. A little game, and they're like, oh, there's a lot of hidden depth there. I don't know if I always buy that.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I would even buy it in this game if you said there's a lot of hidden depth there. But I think there is subtlety here that is very easy to miss. Mm-hmm. If you make that statement, I'm on board with it. This one's fun. And then lastly, we're taking a look at the best known of these three, I would say. Circus Flohcati here. Circus Flohcati is a push-your-luck card game in which you are drawing from the top of a deck, hoping not to bust, stopping ideally before you do so, and then collecting cards in your hand, possibly playing sets out, but mostly hoarding high-valued cards so you can score the best in each color you've got. Get the most points, you win. Like I said, this is the best known one. It's been out in a few different editions. Rio Grande did one a long time ago. And then there is an infamous printing of this that Mike is going to talk about momentarily, which I find truly horrendous. But you like it.
I do like the Grail Games edition, which you're talking about, which unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on your point of view, is out of print. And I do like it. It has anthropomorphic fleas because it's based around a flea circus.
Right.
And yes, it is nightmare fuel, but for some reason, I always have loved that aesthetic. That being said, if you can't get that one, this to me is clearly the one to get. I really do love, like all of these, the aesthetic for it. It is whimsical, which fits. We've used that word a few times. I think you can use that for all of the games of theirs that I've seen, at least in this line.
I agree. Really it toes the line between childish, but aesthetically pleasing and clearly carefully done. Mm-hmm. There's something about the look of this that is kiddie, right? Yeah. There's something sort of childlike about it. But you can tell it's not slapdash. Mm-hmm. This is well done. This is gentle on purpose. It is cute and line, basic lines on purpose. It delivers a specific feeling. So yes, absolutely. I think this one is a very good looking game. Like I said, one that's been printed several times, and there's a reason for that.
Yes.
This is a solid push your luck game. One that mathematically does not fail. It makes absolute sense. It proves, that Reiner Knizia is a master at the mathematics in his games. But it's breezy also. This is a game you can very easily play. It's smooth. It's going to give you those highs and lows. You might flip a couple of cards and immediately bust, and you're like, that didn't work out. Statistically, that's going to happen. But there's some great push your luck. Some great set collection and some good choices happening as well. So, let's go ahead and talk about some ratings for these. I'm going to start with the one I assume we're both coming in the lowest on. And that's going to be easy come, easy go.
Correct.
See, I have over here, in fact,
okay.
My rating for these...
I've got mine right here.
...is over here. So, easy come, easy go is getting a 4 from me.
What does my paper say right
Yours says 4 as well. It's just not that good. I'll happily play it because it's going to take us 8 minutes.
Right.
But it's just not very interesting. This is not a game I would recommend unless, again, you're getting it as a gift for someone who is into putting boats in bottles or someone who's into sailing and not a gamer, maybe.
Yeah.
But as a game, even if you're not interested thematically and you're just giving it to a light gamer, but thematically they have no tie to this, that you can get a better thing.
You could do much better. It's we were talking about hidden depth. I believe this has 0 hidden depth, and it almost has 0 decisions. I mean, that to me is the biggest, downfall to this game is that you really are just rolling dice. It's kind of a roll and hope. I kind of talked about that in a different review a long time ago. This has much of a roll and hope feel. There's not a lot you can do.
Yep. All right, next up, Penguin Party. Penguin Party from me is going to get a 7 out of 10. I really did like it. I was charmed by this one, and the more I played it, sort of the more it grew on me. So that's where I'm coming at it.
I'm coming a little lower. I'm at a 6 out of 10 on it. I do feel like it has, a little bit more than meets the eye, but it still is not one that I feel like I would come back to very often. I don't know that it has legs. I feel like it's one that am I correct that you play the number of rounds as there are a number of players?
Yeah. And that's a bit of a failing for me because I wouldn't want to go above 3.
Right. That's kind of where my thought is. I think it would outstay its welcome at higher player counts. And so it's fine. It's a fine game. I would certainly play it if someone recommended it. I'd be happy to teach it because there's almost no teaching to it. But it almost just kind of floats away to me.
It does. This is a relaxing night, sort of, week night. I want to play some cards, but I don't want to think too much. But not completely brain dead. I want to sort of, I'm going to hold back this color because I think it'll be opportune down here. Or I want to make sure I seed this color so it makes its way to the top. If a color gets locked out near the bottom, it's just not available near the top of the pyramid. So, I like it a little bit better. And then lastly, we've got Circus Flohcati, which I am rating an 8 out of 10. Circus Flohcati here is, like I said, a classic. I think it's an undeniable classic, one of Reiner Knizia's better little card games. It's got a lot of games, but of this weight and size, I really do think this is one of the better ones. And this edition is one of the better ones. What do you got? 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10.
As well.
This is a top tier push your luck game, not just by Knizia, but in general. I had already rated it an 8 before, and there's nothing about this edition that's going to bring it down. I think it's one of the best versions of the game out there. It's one of those rare games where you can teach the game by playing the first round yourself.
That's true.
You can take the first turn if you're the teacher and say, here's how you play the game, and you start playing it, and people will get it right away. There's a few, maybe 3 special power cards that you might talk about when they come up, but otherwise, it is a game that is so easy to teach, so easy to play, but consistently goes over well. I've never had a group hate this game. Some have been lukewarm, but I've never had anybody say, that game is terrible.
I agree.
Most people like it, and I really like it.
So there you go. Games all gorgeous.
Yes.
All with great component quality, but not all equally good. So hopefully this gives you a spread of some games here, gives you an idea of maybe which ones might work for you, might work for your friends. So that's gonna do it. Thanks very much, everybody, for checking these out. My name is Z Garcia.
And I'm Mike DeLisio.
We will see you on the next one.